Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and round 2 of the dual fire versus the Weber kettle. Yeah, a little bit of a David and Goliath thing, but hey, that happens. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we go through a Carne Asada showdown. Some ribs, which came out really good. This is just a peek right here of what we were in the middle of the process. And then of course, some chicken. Yes, it's going to be fun. So let's get started with Carne Asada. So Carne Asada is grilled meat, and you know what? Fajitas are grilled meat. So what's the difference? I'm not exactly sure, but I know I need some hatch chilies to go with mine, so I'm putting those on first on that high heat before dropping down the Carne Asada, which is just marinated skirt steak. Got that on hot coals, basically on the kettle, and then pretty much set the dual fire up for 500 degrees Fahrenheit and got that going down on there too. And I gotta tell you, these things cook fairly quickly, okay? In this case, I know the grill on the kettle was a lot hotter because that one finished up a lot earlier, and it took a little longer to get the steak done on the direct side. I went ahead and cranked it up to full a little bit later just to kind of expedite the process. But nonetheless, char marks were looking really good on this. And you know what? So were the char marks on the dual fire as well. The smell coming off the charcoal grill here was good too. And I just got to tell you, I mean, both of these were really, really nice, okay? I mean, just sitting there cooking these things up, I could tell that this was going to be one competition I absolutely was going to enjoy. Now that said, lined everything up, and it was time to start cutting and doing the taste test. Now, notice how I'm cutting it right here in half, but then to cut against the grain, you got to turn it sideways. That way you get that perfect bite, if you will, in terms of the texture and everything coming off. That first one I did was the dual fire. That was really good and tender. But I will admit, this one came out a little bit more tender on the kettle side. All right, I got everybody coming in. This is the recteq. It's good. Man, it's good. It's really good, actually. This is the Weber. I'm going to have to say this is a little better simply because of the doneness. I think I went a little bit too far on that one. But this one is perfect. I mean, this is really, really good. So yeah, that had me thinking I probably should have done it on full on the direct side just to give it that quick hit. Because let me tell you, everybody agreed the Weber was the winner on that one, no doubt. Okay, so now let's move on to the ribs. That's right, kettle versus the direct and the smoke box. But first, I needed to figure out if I knew what I was doing. So lining up the cook here, we start with a little pile of coals on one end. We only light one end, and then we put the rest of the coals into the body of that end of the kettle, and then basically like a long fuse, it just burns from that one end all the way down over time. And that's apparently how you do a long cook with a coal system. I'm just telling you this because this was the first time I learned all of this. So anyhow, loaded up some wood chunks on there because, hey, want to get some wood flavor on this as well. Those happen to be apple wood chunks. And then now it's just time to let the brizo bring it to temperature. And yeah, you can really hear that motor hum. That little in and out is it fanning that flame like electronic bellows. And you know what? Sure enough, I mean, it held temperature all the way through that cook for a long time. That one was like a little over 8 hours. So filled with confidence, here we go. This is for the realsies. Lined everything up one more time and got that set up, and now it's time to prep all the ribs. This time got 3 ribs, pretty much the same weight all the way through. Went ahead and trimmed them up and saved those trimmings for some sausage I was planning on making, and effectively did the usual routine. In this case, my usual is blacks, that salt and pepper blend with a little bit of cayenne and red pepper in it, followed by, in this time, John Henry's maple bacon rub. This was new. We had been doing the honey rub, This time I was going maple bacon rub just to see how that was going to turn out. And anyhow, it worked out good on chicken wings, so I figured it would work out good here too. After all, it was made for ribs. Okay, now that those ribs have rested in the refrigerator, it's time for the low and slow cook. I got one set going into the smoke box, right there on the lower rack. The next set on low in the direct side, and then the final one here on the kettle, on the end, away from the flame, again, on low. Let that cook for a while. Finally, everything came up to temp after a certain amount of time, and it was time to do some wrapping on here. Doing things a little bit differently this time. Instead of using brown sugar, I saw a guy at a restaurant do this. I'm throwing honey down. Apparently this is a thing. People do this. And so I'm putting honey down. And I got to tell you, these came out looking really good and smelling pretty good. Just after that, smoke time on them, getting the smoke time on them. Throwing the butter down, and now I'm putting some John Henry's jalapeno butter. I found this in the store. Yeah, I've been exploring the John Henry's family. Anyhow, a little bit of apple juice in here, just to keep things moist and have that baste a little bit. And then just repeated the process, for the direct side as well. And yeah, they came off the direct side looking pretty good. Even smokiness all the way through, top and bottom on these. Again, honeyed them up and everything else, and then went and grabbed the ones off the kettle. Now here's the surprise here. Check out the bottom on this one. Top came out great, but the bottom one was not as colored as I was expecting it to. I'm not worried about that, but anyhow, it's just not what I was expecting. So honeyed these up, buttered them up, put a little bit of the jalapeno butter and the apple juice on, and then bam, back on the kettle for the final part of this cook. So there you go, mission accomplished. Adjusted the heat just a little bit, and in no time at all, it was ready to sauce these. This time, again, back to John Henry's, doing his pecan Southwest barbecue sauce. Anyhow, it was good. It really was good. We finished the whole bottle of it already, so I had to put it, I don't have the bottle anymore. Anyhow, flip those ribs up and over in its own sauce, and made a little boat out of that, and then, down went the John Henry's barbecue sauce on top. Took my little magic baster out and started basting those up, and just repeated that process. The aim here is to, keep everything moist on the bottom while letting everything get tacky and set on top. Did the same thing for the one side of the kettle, but I gotta tell you, when I opened up the kettle, oh my God, did these smell so good. I mean, they smelled so good. They won the smell contest at this point between everything, without a doubt. So anyhow, repeated the process, got the barbecue sauce, evened out on top of there, and was ready to put those back on. And I gotta tell you, at this point in time, for me, John Henry's was sounding good. Now those ribs were ready, and now it was time to basically pull everything off and get ready for the verdict. So went in and wow, look at the pullback on those ribs. All of them actually, they all came back with good pullback. Everything was set. I mean, this was a nice set of ribs right there. Okay, so that was the lineup: kettle, direct in the middle, and smoke box. And went ahead and cut these up and plated them in front of the family, and you can see that close up right there. These just worked well. Good smoke ring on all of them actually. So here's the verdict. With respect to this contest here, okay, I gotta tell you, they were all really, really good, but one stood out the most. And the final score of everything, without a doubt, it was the direct fire, dual fire. In other words, I just made that up. Direct fire on the dual fire. They came out first, smoke box second, Weber third. Okay, I don't know why they say you can't smoke on the direct side, but I'd do it. Now it's time for chicken. Lining up that chimney stack of coals, and in this case, I'm pouring in on the kettle the water in there, that water tray, just to keep a little bit of a cool barrier between things and keep moisture in there. dumping those hot coals across the entire spectrum, getting this thing up to 400 degrees. That's my chicken that I broke apart earlier and seasoned again with some of that John Henry's and some of that blacks also. So on goes half a chicken on the kettle. The rest of the half is going on the direct side. And yeah, I'm putting some more wood chunks, over those directs just to get a little bit of smoke on there. And that's the challenge I'm kind of working with, is how much wood is too much wood when you want to get some wood, flavor on your cook. So still trying to figure that out. So the biggest of the breasts I put in the back there, and then the other half of the chicken just loaded that up. And not after too long, it was looking really good. Now, part of the old school chicken is, to baste everything. So I'm prepping my baste right there, getting that in, and getting ready to do another peek to see how things are looking. And, oh, that hurts. I did not expect this to be so dark. And it did. It came out really dark. And I gotta tell you, I'm worried about that. At this point in time, I was really worried about that. But anyhow, the show must go on. So basting plenty here. And started with the underside first. So I'm flipping everything over to baste the bottom. And then we're gonna finish basting on the top, okay? Now I gotta tell you, the chicken breasts were definitely plumping up pretty hard on these. They were cooking pretty well. So flipping everything back over, going for another baste, and hoping that I just didn't wreck this chicken, okay? Anyhow, getting another solid baste on here, and I got 2 more bastes on this before everything reached temperature, okay? And the thing on the kettle that I noticed was every time I took the lid off, the flames came back up, it got hotter, so putting it down brought everything down. But not before too long, everything had reached temp and we were good to go, okay? So brought all that inside, and now it's time for the verdict. Yep. So Lucy, what did you think about that chicken thigh I just handed you?
It's really good. I like the flavor.
How is that piece of chicken? You hate it, huh?
It's just like...
Yeah, I couldn't really repeat what Lucy said there. Anyhow, she did not care for that kettle chicken. So at the end of the day, we measured up, and I'm gonna say blame it on me, okay? I think I had too much wood, and that was my challenge. I couldn't figure it out. So in the final verdict of everything, that Cheftemp's, Brizo and everything works well to control temperature. Easy recommendation for anybody that's a kettle owner there. I see the attraction of the kettle. You got a ton of accessories to do just about any kind of cooking you want, and they're very affordable, okay? Some of them even, cost more than the kettle itself. So accessories galore, all right? Now, that being said, there's a lot of work that goes into figuring out your flavor variables here and getting that right. So overall, here's some big learnings I've had from it. All right, in terms of final learnings with respect to the kettle and the Weber kettle directly, this design has stood the test of time. I mean, it really has. The fact that it is still hugely popular these days is a testimony to a great design that just works, period, okay? And what I really appreciate is all the innovation going on around it, all the accessories and everything to boot. And now you've got all these smart devices that are working to help make it even easier to use, okay? Now I kind of credit that to the pellet grill revolution because, the set it and forget it, the easy temp control is really what the pellet grills, are known for. And to see people trying to bring that type of technology into this type of package, I think is going to breathe new life into this, basically family of products, okay? It already has. These things are taking off and doing, very well. Now that said, there's a learning curve here. I mean, I have wrestled with, how much wood to get on this, and the fact that it seems like I'm just getting too much, smoke in place, where now I understand why people are only putting like 1 or 2, chunks of wood down. Clearly, it is hit or miss with, the family. They just don't like that overly charcoal, smoky flavor that comes off of this. Now, in fairness, I'm okay with it. Everything that I've cooked off of this including that chicken that came out pretty dark, honestly, I really liked it. Okay. I mean, in terms of pass fail, it was a clear pass. It just wasn't up to where I was with, things on the pellet grill. So on the pellet grill, I can control the smoke by going, lower in temperature, or bringing it up in temperature and cooking a little quicker, right? I can add smoke like I've shown you with the smoke box, the smoke tubes, and even doing the charcoal snake, okay, borrowed from here on the pellet grill. That brisket I made in brisket and rice was phenomenal. So key learnings, I'm going to park this for a while, but I may use it again here pretty soon. I don't know yet. But it has just made me appreciate the design and history of this even more, and appreciate why people still love it a lot. Bring on the Zen, my friend. All right, Lucy, I just wanted to call you down here and let you know that I'm not going to be cooking on the charcoal kettle grill for a while.
I should tell Mom. She's gonna be really excited.
So thanks for spending time, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Y'all take care now.